Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make this corset top slash this one. I originally made this first version of the corset top for the Ren Fair. If you guys want to check out that video, I'll put it in the little card above here and in the description below. But this top was so much fun to make, and I thought if I'm going to create another one, why not just make a tutorial on how to make it? Anyways, I won't ramble for too much. Let's just go ahead and get started with this tutorial. Starting with supplies, you're going to need worsted weight yarn. For my size, I had to use 200 grams of worsted weight yarn, and I decided to do two different colors, one for the front and one for the back. For the front, I'm using the Stitch Stuff yarn, which is a local hand-dyed yarn brand in Wisconsin, and for the back, I'm using the Kilborn Woolens yarn in Salmon. You don't have to use these specific brands. As long as it's worsted weight yarn, you should be completely fine. You'll also need ribbon to use for the back to tighten the top. This specific ribbon is 1.5 inches. For the crochet hook, I'll be using a 3.5mm crochet hook. You'll also need scissors, a darning needle, and stitch markers as well. So now that I have my yarn winded up, I'm ready to begin the top. First, we'll create a slip knot. To make the knot, you'll take the end of the yarn in your left hand and overlap it with the yarn in your right hand. So this is going to create a loop, and you're going to take your left hand and place your fingers on top of the two pieces that intersect to hold onto that loop, so where that cross is. Then you're going to fold the loop over the yarn that's connected to the ball. This is called your working yarn, and you'll pull the yarn from the ball through the loop. To tighten the slip knot, pull the working end of the yarn. Now we're going to start working on the chain. To make a chain, use the working yarn to yarn over and pull through. This will create a loop, and this loop is considered one chain. You're going to repeat this 50 more times for a total of 51 chains. I like to measure my chain, and in this case it's 27 centimeters or about 10.5 inches. I would also recommend that you take this chain and put it up against your side because you want to make sure that this is going to be long enough. Now we're going to start working on our first row. So for this pattern, we're going to be using the lemon seed stitch. The lemon seed stitch consists of a single crochet and a double crochet, and you just go back and forth using those two different stitches. To make a single crochet, you're going to insert your hook into the chain, and you can see that there's this V here. You're going to take the top V and insert your hook into it. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through so that you have two loops under your hook, and then yarn over again and pull through both. For the double crochet, before you insert your hook into that V, you're first going to yarn over and then place your hook into that V again. Yarn over and pull through. You're now going to have 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through 2 of them. And then yarn over and pull through the last 2. So as you can see, the single crochet is much shorter than the double crochet. And this variation of going back and forth between the single crochet and the double crochet makes the lemon seed stitch. You're just going to keep working this stitch up until you get to the very end of the row. this is what your first row should look like. Now, I like to take this and measure it up against my body just to make sure that it's the correct length, like I said before. And as you can see, I'm putting it against my side and measuring out that way because we're going to do increases at the bottom to make the corset look. So as long as this size is correct for you, you can keep going. If you need to shorten it, you just remove chains. So rather than starting with a chain of 51, you can decrease that to 49 or 47. I just recommend using an odd number of chains. And same goes if you need to increase it. Just make sure that you have an odd number of chains. Next, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to continue working the lemon seed stitch on this side as well. And you're going to make sure that you put the single crochets on top of our previous double crochets. And our double crochets will go into our previous single crochets. So you can kind of see, looking at the fabric that we've done so far, like I said before, the double crochets are much taller, and those are where your single crochets will go. Our single crochets are much shorter, so you know if you see a single crochet, you'll have to put a double crochet into it. And you'll just keep repeating this, going back and forth between a single crochet and double crochet. Now, if you start with an odd number of chains, you'll always start every row with a single crochet and you'll end every row with a double crochet. And this is what your second row will look like. You're going to repeat this 2 more times. And when you get to the end of the 4th row, this is where we'll start our increases. So here is the 4th row, and here is the last stitch of that row. Like normal, you're going to put in a double crochet. And this time, to do our increase, in that same stitch, we are going to put a single crochet and another double crochet. So we're increasing this row by 2 stitches. So you should have a total of 52 stitches now. You're going to turn your work and again start off your row with a single crochet. So because we ended our row with a double crochet, we're going to put a single crochet into here and then a double crochet into that single crochet increase. Now you're just going to keep repeating the lemon seed stitch, and in every 4th row you're going to do the same exact increase. So here you can see I've worked up a couple of increase rows, and you can start seeing that there's a bit of a taper towards the center. Now if we look at this corset top that I've already created, you can see that we're trying to do this gradual increase towards the center, do a couple of non-increase rows, and then we're going to decrease. And that's what makes this taper in the front. So I did a total of 20 rows, and there are now 60 stitches on my top. I'm now going to start doing the middle section, which requires no increases, and I'm going to do 7 rows of just normal lemon seed stitches. So as you can see here, I didn't do an increase, and I'm just going in and doing a normal lemon seed stitch. So this is what your top will look like once you're done with that middle section. It should just come straight across. And now we're going to start working our decreases. You're going to start the row off as normal and do the lemon seed stitch, but stop when you get to the last 4 stitches. So here are the last 4 stitches of the top. Now to do the decreases to start that taper, you're going to want to basically crochet 2 of those stitches together. Yarn over and pull through one of the stitches, so you'll have 2 loops on your hook. And then in the second one, you're going to do the same thing, yarn over and pull through. Now you'll have 3 loops on your hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. So that's your first decrease. And this decrease is a single crochet decrease. To make a double crochet decrease, you're going to yarn over before you put your hook into the 3rd stitch. Put your hook into the 3rd stitch and yarn over and pull through. Now you'll have 3 loops on your hook, and then insert your hook into the last one, yarn over, and then yarn over and pull through 3. And yarn over and pull through 2. And that kind of acts as our double crochet decrease. You're going to chain 1 and then do a normal row of your lemon seed stitch. You're going to repeat this pattern again every 4th row, doing a decrease until you have hit 50 stitches. Essentially, you want your left and right side to have the same amount of stitches. So because I started out with 50 stitches, we want to end on 50 stitches. Once you've completed your decreases, you can see here there's the taper that we were looking for. You're going to want to start working on the back, and this is what we'll use to kind of cinch corset top together. Now I'm going to use a different color for the back. Like I said, this isn't necessary. You can use the same color that you did in the front in the back as well, but I really like this salmon pink color, so I'm going to use that for the back of this top. To swap out colors, I'm going to take the last stitch and remove it. So this is a double crochet. I'm going to redo it, and before I pull my yarn through to the last 2 loops, I'm going to take my new yarn and use that to pull through the last 2 loops. And that's how you change colors. Use your old yarn to tighten up that stitch and chain 1. And then you can cut off the working yarn of your old color and start working with your new color. And then for the back, you're just going to do normal lemon seed stitches with no increases or decreases. I wanted to show you what this looks like so far on me. As you can see, the taper hits just below my waist. So then you're going to start doing a normal lemon seed stitch for the back. I did 15 rows of the lemon seed stitch for the back, and this doesn't require any increases or decreases. Once you've finished with the 15 rows, this is what it should look like. You should be able to stretch your corset top a little bit, and it shouldn't go all the way around to the back because this is only one side of the back. And now we're going to start working on the loops to put the ribbon through. To make the loops, you're first going to start off with a chain of 2 and turn your work. In that first stitch, we're going to put a double crochet in just to make them a little bit stronger, and then chain 5. You're then going to yarn over and skip 5 stitches. So here you can see I'm counting out the stitches. And putting it into the 5th one and doing a double crochet into that stitch. I'm going to place another double crochet just to secure it and make that a little bit stronger. And again, I'm going to repeat the same pattern of chaining 5, skipping 5 stitches, and in the 5th stitch, I'm going to place a double crochet and a second double crochet. Now you should have a bunch of loops in the back. And I'm just finishing off this row with a double crochet. And now you can cut your yarn and pull that yarn all the way through to make a knot. We're now going to start working on the other side of the back. This one is a little bit more tricky just because of the first chain that we placed down when we were making this top. So I'm going to show you guys how to place those lemon seed stitches. First, you're going to want to make a slip knot and place it onto your hook. And pull it through that first stitch. And I'm placing this where that double crochet is. You're going to chain 1, and then in the next stitch, you're going to place a double crochet. So here I've just zoomed in a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. So like before, you can kind of see where the double crochets and the single crochets are. They'll just be upside down in this case. So here you can see in the next stitch is a double crochet, so you know that we'll place a single crochet there. And then in the next one where that single crochet is, you'll place the double crochet. It is quite difficult to line this up exactly with the single and double crochets, so as long as you put the same amount of stitches that your starting chain started out with, it should be okay. Because I had 50 stitches when working originally on the front of this top, I want to make sure that there's 50 stitches for the back. And then you're just going to do your normal 15 rows and loops. So this is what it looks like at the end. And now I'm going to place the ribbon through these loops. So for me personally, I don't actually place the ribbon through every single loop. I usually skip 2 and then place it into that 3rd loop. And just crisscross the yarn back and forth, kind of just like how you would lace your shoes up. And make sure that you leave enough room so that it's easy for you to try on. And now the base part of your top is completed. So this is what it looks like on. If you want to leave it just like this without straps, you can do that. I would just recommend making the back a bit tighter. As you can see, the back scrunches up a lot with the ribbon. Anyways, I'm going to figure out the placement for the straps. So I usually put a marker of where the outermost part of the strap will be. So I'm thinking like straps like right here probably. So I'm going to put one here and here on the other side. And then in the back, it'll probably be just directly back. I'm going to take this off, trying to keep the shape of the corset so I can figure out where the straps will line up in the back. Okay, as you can see, I've placed the markers and I'm lining it up with the back, making sure it is folded over correctly. And then I'm just going to take another stitch marker and place it directly back. And then same with this one. And now we're ready to get started on these straps. I've already done one sleeve, but this will apply to both straps. So I'll show you guys how to do this one. Because we placed our stitches on the outermost side of the strap, so what I'm saying is like this side is where this stitch marker is, and the strap for this side will go the other way, so you'll work it towards the middle of the corset. Because we put the markers like this, I'm going to actually start this strap in the back, and I'm going to take some of my yarn. I'm using the coral color that I used in the back because I ran out of the color in the front, but it doesn't matter. Whatever color you want to use for the straps, you can go ahead and use that color. So first, I'm going to make another slip knot. And tighten it. And then I'm actually going to take it off, and where I've placed my marker is where I'm going to put my hook, and then I'm going to put the slip knot back onto my hook. I'm going to pull it through so that the slip knot is sitting in that hole, and then I'll yarn over and start doing my chain length for these straps. So this will depend on how long you want your straps to be. I recommend you measure out where you want these straps to sit on you and how low or high you want your corset top to be. For me, I am going to chain 44. So I've done my chain of 44, and this is what it looks like. Now you're gonna wanna make sure that your chain is straightened out, all in the same direction. And then where this second stitch marker is, in the front is where you're going to place your hook. You're gonna take your yarn and make sure that it's in the back of the stitch that you want it to go into. Insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, and then also pull through your chain. Now we're going to work 2 rows of the lemon seed stitch. In this first chain here, and make sure you skip the slip knot. Going to do a single crochet, and then in the next one you're going to do a double crochet. So this is the same stitch that we were doing before. So single crochet, then double crochet, and you're going to do this until you get to the very end of the strap. Once you finish working up the first row of the strap, we're now going to switch and do our second row. So to do that, you're going to want to find the next hole where you want your strap to start. So it's going to be the one next to your stitch marker. So I'm going to use this hole right here. I'm going to yarn over and pull through both. And now I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. Now, just like we did before, we're going to continue with our lemon seed stitch. And as you can see here, once again, this is where the double crochet is at. And I'm going to do a single crochet for the double crochets and put a double crochet in on top of my previous single crochets. So now I'm gonna do the rest of this row. Okay, once again, once you get to the very end, you're going to find the next hole. So there's one here, and you're going to do a slip stitch and then cut your yarn and pull all the way through. Okay, now you're just gonna go in and weave in all your ends, which I'll show you guys how I do this. It isn't really like a specific way that I do this. I kind of just try and shove the ends in as much as possible so they don't come undone. But I do recommend doing this because if you just cut the yarn where it is on the piece, it's very likely that your whole top will unravel, and we don't want that. So always weave in your ends. So I have my darning needle here, and I'm going to take this end and put it through the needle. And what I usually do is I go in and try to find like these posts here and slip it through those posts. And usually there's like a couple in a row, so there's like another post here. I'll slip it through these ones. And there's another one here, so I'll slip it through there. And here's another one. So I'll do that, and so it goes through a couple different posts. I'll pull my yarn through and like tighten it a little bit just to make sure that's secure, but not enough to scrunch up the fabric. And then now you can see that there's 2 posts here. I'll skip one post and then go back into all of the posts that I just went into. There you go. And just pull it all the way through. And again, just make sure that it's not too tight. And then now you can cut this end off. And now it's pretty seamless. You don't notice it too much. You can also put this on the inside if you're worried about it showing, but because this is in the back, I don't care that much. So now you're just gonna do this with the rest of your ends. Now, once you cut off all your ends, you're done. This is what the top looks like. And if you'd like, you could put some fun embellishments on the front of this. For my Renaissance Fair version of this top, I put different beads on top and just put a chain and clasped it together to hang onto the front. But otherwise, this is the top. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys end up making this top, please share it with me. My YouTube and my Instagram are the same handle, Leftover Dinner, so please share them with me on Instagram. I would love to see your versions of this top. Also, let me know what type of videos you want to see from me. I've kind of been testing out a ton of different types of videos, and if you guys prefer tutorials or more vlogs on different projects I'm working on, more podcast episodes, let me know. I can definitely accommodate that. But anyways, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!